Good evening and welcome to another episode of Pegasys Presents. I'm Lauren Stefanelli, Access Coordinator here at Pegasys. And today we're going to be talking about a building that I'll bet many of you have driven by over and over. You're going past Guthrie, you're going to the SPCA, you're going past the mall, you're going to the ornithology lab or someplace, and you pass this really interesting, intriguing looking red octagonal, hexagonal, who knows what it is, building that it's really interesting. What is it? Well, we're going to find out today. It belongs to the History Center, and we've got two staff members here that are going to tell us all about it. To my immediate right is Carol West, who is the director of the 8 Square Schoolhouse, which is the name of the building, and also the youth education director. And to my far right is Wendy Bacon, who is an 8 Square Schoolhouse Schoolmarm, or school teacher. Thanks so much, both of you, for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and you guys have been having activities all summer long at the schoolhouse, and you're having more things coming up in the fall, and really you have things all year long. So before we get started talking about all these activities, why don't we talk about what the 8 Square Schoolhouse is and how it came to belong to the History Center?
Well, the 8 Square Schoolhouse was built in 1827 by some prominent citizens in Dryden. They were looking to build a schoolhouse that would last for generations to come, which it has. And eventually the school was used as a one-room schoolhouse until 1941, when it was closed by the district and students were bused to central schools. It sat vacant for many years, and in 1955 the History Center bought the building for the grand sum of $10 and used it again as a storage facility, and it sat. Some of the citizens in the area used it for different events, and beginning in the early 90s the History Center decided that we should use this building for our own programming. So beginning in 1992, a curriculum was developed by several employees at the History Center, and we've been using that curriculum ever since, up until the present day.
And Carol, how long have you been involved with the 8 Square Schoolhouse and the History Center?
This is my, I believe, 15th year being involved at the History Center, and I started out as the 8 Square Schoolhouse director, and then progressed eventually to include youth education as well.
And Wendy, you're a schoolmarm, but
Yes.
But that's not all you do at the History Center. You do other things?
I'm basically a schoolmarm. I
Basically a
also
schoolmarm.
help out with the archaeology during the summer because I'm able to do that as well. But I'm basically a schoolmarm. So
And
I
why
work
does a
at the
defunct schoolhouse need a schoolmarm?
Oh, it's not defunct. It is certainly a very active program. Fourth graders come to the schoolhouse on a class trip. And when that bus pulls up full of fourth graders, I'm standing on the schoolhouse steps, and I'm wearing my schoolmarm outfit. As you can see, I have the long sleeve white blouse, high collar, the long full skirt. I even have lace-up leather boots, and I'm standing on the schoolhouse steps, and I'm ringing my school bell, and the bus pulls up, and the kids get out, and I'm ringing the bell. I say, line up, line up.
Sounds like Little House on the Prairie.
It is. It's really fun. And the kids look at me, and they're excited. They're interested in what's going on, but they also give me this look like, whoa, what is going on here? This is not school as usual. And that's kind of deliberate. You kind of get them sort of, not exactly off balance, but just a little like, whoa, this is different. What's going on here? So that's one of my favorite parts, when the kids look at me like, what is this? So that's really fun. I enjoy that.
Well, we've got a short video that shows some of the things that happen when kids come to the schoolhouse. And I think that would be a good introduction to what happens. So let's take a look at this wonderful clip produced for Kids Discover the Trail by Joe Scaglione.
Kids Discover the Trail brings all Ithaca City School District 4th graders to the 8 Square Schoolhouse to learn about local history. They spend an entire day at the brick octagon-shaped one-room school that has been serving students for over 180 years. It's the site of the History Center in Tompkins County's 1890s Living History program. This KDT experience is greatly anticipated by the students who become transformed back in time for this memorable school day. Complete with authentic water pump and well, outhouses, and old-fashioned games played in the schoolyard. Lessons from the time period's curriculum are taught by a costume-clad teacher, and students learn the 3 R's and ink penmanship. Other activities include a spelling bee, poetry, nature studies, math, and reading and grammar lessons. They also learn about the life of children in the 1890s, as well as the political and economic climate of this time period. Kids Discover the Trail is a collaboration between IPEI, the ICSD, and the Discovery Trail that brings 2,900 pre-K through 5th grade students to each of the 7 trail museums and the public library during their elementary school years. Community support makes the curriculum-based field trips and other aspects of KDT possible. To learn more, visit kidsdiscoverthetrail.org and ipei.org.
And we're back, so we saw lots of kids running around, and all these kids somehow magically are wearing the garb of the 1890s. How did that happen, Wendy?
Well, there's material on the History Center website for the teachers that prepares the teachers to prepare the kids. Some of the kids get really into dressing up, and it also instructs the teachers on how to have the kids bring a lunch that is 1892 compliant, so no Tupperware, no plastic wrap, and the kids really enjoy that too. They show me, oh, here's what I brought for lunch, and then of course my lunch is, I have a little lunch basket with my 1892 lunch.
Like a little wicker basket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're always curious about that. So
how many kids that said that there were quite a large number of kids that come through here and do this?
Mm-hmm. We have 4th graders from, I think it's all the schools in the Ithaca City School District, plus other districts. I think you mentioned the Montessori and Lansing and Newfield, I think.
Trumansburg.
Trumansburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're busy. We're busy.
So they all get to understand that this is part of their history, and you're connecting them to it through an actual experience.
We have an 1892 map on the wall, and I point to the little schoolhouse symbol, and I say, this is where we are right now. We're in this schoolhouse that's on this map. So they can see on the map where we are in relationship to Ithaca and the neighborhoods that they're familiar with. So yeah, it's very contextualized that this is their history. This is the history of where they live.
And right down to the outhouse, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I like to leave maybe 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the day, and then I say, okay, I need you to do just one more thing. I need you to climb into a magic time machine and zing forward to whatever the current year is. And tell me what's different, what's the same. So we talk about what has changed. Some things have not changed that much about school. So we talk about that, and then I go around the room and I say, now everyone's going to get a chance to tell me, what did you really enjoy? What did you really like? Or what would you have liked about school in 1892? Then after we've done that, I say, now I'm going to go around the room and I want you to tell me, what did you not like, or what would you not have liked about life in 1892? And I generally let them get a little way around the room, and then I say, now no one has yet mentioned what Miss Bacon does not like about, because I'm Miss Bacon, as the schoolmarm, does not like about 1892. And they kind of look at me and I say, the privy. Miss Bacon is not a fan of the privy. And then of course they all giggle, and then we talk about that. And some of them, when it's time for recess and I say, now don't forget to use the privy, they look at me, they're not sure I'm serious. There are 2 privies, one for the boys, one for the girls. That's it, there's no indoor plumbing and no electricity. It's another thing that throws them sometimes. So it's been restored to what it would have been in 1892. It's an immersive experience.
Wow. So in theory, the schoolhouse and all the kids coming to the schoolhouse, they kind of bring the whole place to life, and they kind of make it still be something that's part of current day education for most of the Tompkins County children when they reach that grade level. So Carol, what are some of the other programs that the schoolhouse is involved in?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because this was the 2nd year that we did our immersive summer program called Digging into Carrie's Diary. It's a summer camp for kids that we do for a week in July. And we had a great summer this year with a full room full of kids. And what we've decided to do for this project is base the week on the diary of a local girl who lived in the 1860s. So that's basically the era that we're looking at for the camp. She was 13 years old when she wrote the diary. All the kids get a copy of the diary.
Girl?
She was local. She actually lived in what's now the Lansing area and went to a one-room school in that area. She wrote a diary for many years of her life. We have one diary that we have at the History Center, and we've recreated that diary so all the kids will have a copy of it. Unfortunately, she died when she was 19, and one of the ways that we end the week, which is really emotional, is we actually go to the cemetery where she's buried and visit the gravesite at the end of the week. But the kids are immersed in her life for that week, so we do a lot of activities based on that, and it's a wonderful program. And then in August, we have our archaeology program for teens and adults. This is our 5th year, I believe, open to the public with that program. And we have found some amazing artifacts, and we continue to find amazing artifacts. So we're going to keep doing that every summer.
Well, so we'll pause there for a minute,
Yeah.
because I actually visited and took a look at what you guys were doing at the Community Archaeology Dig. So we've got a short video where you can actually see what happens at the 8 Square Schoolhouse at the Archaeology Dig. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Carol West, and I'm the 8 Square Schoolhouse and Youth Education Director for the History Center in Tompkins County. And I'm standing in front of our 8 Square Schoolhouse, which was built in 1827. We are the only brick octagon schoolhouse in all of New York State, and we do living history programs here at the History Center. We also do a summer camp for kids, and we do archaeology. We do an open house in the fall, and we are part of Kids Discover the Trail in Ithaca, which is a group of 8 different museums and sites that all the children from pre-K through 5th grade in Tompkins County visit during the school year every year. And today we are doing archaeology here out at the schoolhouse.
My name is Lauren Sparling, and I am an archaeologist with the History Center. Our project is basically outreach. We're conducting public archaeology, which is archaeology in which any interested party can partake in. If you want to follow me. Here we have Josh, who is a freshman in high school, who exemplifies the technique of digging in archaeology. And he learned about how to dig properly like an archaeologist 2 weekends ago. His mother, Kristen, is doing the same thing, and she is also a newbie to archaeology. Judy is showcasing her skills as a sifter. So once the dirt is excavated, it's brought over here and is screened, as Judy is showing here. Judy found just recently a porcelain rim sherd to a teacup, which is the first this season that any ceramic sherd has been found. She's also found nails, pieces of brick, coal, more things that are associated with a schoolhouse.
So I would like to show you some of the things that we have found in our past digs over the past 5 years that we've been digging on the site. One of them is the sole of a shoe that we found. We're not sure if it's a moccasin or a child's shoe, but it's got the little holes in it showing where the sole of the shoe and the top of the shoe were joined together. We have found slate pencils, which the children would have used until they became this small, and then they would have discarded them outside in a midden pile. And probably our most exciting find is this stove door that we found in one of our units out behind the schoolhouse, actually behind the girls' outhouse that we found this. We are currently trying to do some research on it to find out exactly what year, what era this might have been from, but this was certainly one of our more exciting finds. And you can see that it's got the depiction of an ear of corn on the front, which is pretty unique. So we have a lot of things that are going on here at the schoolhouse, and in order to find out exactly what we have going on, please check our website, which is thehistorycenter.net, and also sign up for our newsletter so that you can stay up to date on all of the events happening at the schoolhouse.
Okay, we're back, and thank you, Carol, for letting me come and have a look around and having you guys show me what you guys were doing. It seemed like everybody was so into it.
Yeah, definitely. People get very involved. We have someone who was involved this year already told us she was going to come out again next year for all 4 Saturdays, so we're pretty excited about that.
And you have Lauren Sparling, who was who is a real archaeologist,
yes.
Who can really explain things and create a context for anything that you might find, and kind of give guidance as to the right way to do everything. And he works with the History Center too.
Yes, and we've actually been very lucky. From the beginning of this program, we have had several local archaeologists who've been involved, actually 3. Wendy actually is an archaeologist by training as well, so it's been great to have her come out. And we've also had involvement with Ithaca College. We've had a professor come out to do ground penetrating radar, so we actually know the spots where we should be digging, so that's been really helpful.
So it'll determine where there's metal or something?
It determines where there's something buried. It doesn't tell you what. It's not exactly the same as...
So it's not dirt and it's not a rock.
Exactly.
Go dig and find
Something's
out.
there and we need to find it, but it shows you the hot spots.
Well, the day I was there, as you saw in the video, the dig was quite shallow.
Yes.
Do you do deeper digging?
Yes, it was shallow because those units were just open this summer. We've, I think, how far did we get down last summer? 18, 20 inches at least? Yes. And we're going to reopen those units again and keep going maybe next year.
Oh, so you just cover them up at the level that you've dug to so that nobody can fall in, and then you can continue from that point?
Yes, exactly. And we have other spots that we can go to. Once those spots are depleted, we'll be able to go to other spots on the site. So we have years, I think, that we're still going to be doing the archaeology, which is great.
Yes. Well, it is when you realize that the way people discarded things in the good old days. I know in Enfield Glen at the old hotel there, they've done all of the digging around there, and they dug up all the seashells from the dinners that everybody had at the hotel, and all kinds of other things, and all the crockery and all the other things that were human used things that people just were kind of casual about how they threw them away. So it makes it easy to find 100 years later when we want to have a look and see how people lived.
Yeah.
They didn't take them far away to a landfill.
That was the landfill right there on the site.
It also makes it very real because as the video mentioned, I think Carol showed the little pieces of slate pencils that we recover archaeologically. So when you find something like that, you think, wow, a little kid threw this away how many years ago?
Right.
Actually wrote with it until it was just too short, and here it is. And when you're the first person to touch that after, that kid tossed that there, that's really exciting, and it makes it really real. It makes history really, really there.
Yeah, no.
So that's exciting.
I could see that. So you were continuing on to talk about programs, and we kind of touched on archaeology. You want to continue?
Yeah, every September we do an open house at the school that's open to the public. We have events going on, we have refreshments, we have tours of the schoolhouse, and just check our website for updates on that.
One thing that I have heard about every year for quite a number of years, and I've gone to once or twice, is the ice cream social.
Yeah.
Is that still a regular event?
We've kind of, it used to be in August, and now that we're doing the archaeology in August, we moved to September. However, we do celebrate with ice cream, and we are going to do that again this year. So come on out and
So
get
people
some ice
should
cream.
stay tuned to your website,
Yes.
which is?
thehistorycenter.net.
And is there a tab on the History Center's website for the 8 Square Schoolhouse
Yes,
where they can find out about events?
Yes, there's a box. There's actually events scrolling at the top of the website, and it'll be up there.
Okay.
So.
And so that's September. So there
Yes.
might be ice cream, and there's an open house, and then what?
Exactly. And then we start with our living history classes again in September and October. So we'll have classes coming out again. Wendy will be out there again doing some teaching. And then we actually close up the school at the end of October because it just gets too cold.
Right, and you don't have any way to heat it really.
Exactly, yeah.
And then it starts all again in the spring.
Yep, in the spring. So we're busy. We're really busy from around mid-April to mid-October is our season.
So do you have, I saw on the website, there are some photographs of the schoolhouse from, I guess, many years ago. It was a black and white photograph on the website that might be from when the schoolhouse was in use.
Exactly.
Do you have any kind of a photographic trail about the schoolhouse?
We have quite a few photographs from dating to around 1900. We don't have too many before that, but we do have quite a few from 1900.
But as you say, the school was in use until 1940, did you say?
1941, yeah. And so the site actually is over 200 years old. There was a four-sided wooden structure on the site built in 1814, and that was taken down when they built the eight-sided structure. So we don't have photographs going back that far. We do have one very evocative photograph showing the road as a dirt road, showing a fence in front of the schoolhouse, and showing that it was actually fairly flat out there until they put the road in, and then they built the road up. The fence is long gone. All the trees and shrubbery those are long gone as well. But we do have several. We actually have one heirloom apple tree that's still on the site. We don't really know how old it is, but we're still getting apples every year. But that's probably the last remnant of what it was like even 50, 100
Before all the
years
development.
ago. Exactly, yeah.
So when I was there visiting you at the 8 Square Schoolhouse, you told me one little nugget of information that didn't make it into the video, but I'd ask it again because I'll bet you it's something that people wonder as they drive by it, which is, why does the 8 Square Schoolhouse have 8 sides? And you told me. So would
Exactly.
you like to tell us again?
Yes, we believe that the eight-sided building was brought up from the Delaware Valley. There was a lot of Quakers that lived in that area.
You mean the idea of it?
The idea of the eight-sided building, and it was really an efficient design. And we predate the craze of the eight-sided buildings. It actually occurred in the mid-1800s. And so the forefathers that actually built the school did a lot of research, I believe, on buildings and on the type of building that would, first of all, last, but also for the era, be the most efficient in terms of light. Each side of the building had a window on it. So you get good cross ventilation, and because there was no electricity, you would also get light from those 8 windows and the front door. So they were thinking ahead in terms of how useful the building could be for however long it lasted. So we still have the benefit of that type of building, which is great.
Thank you.
It really is just a wonderful space in which to teach. It's just beautifully laid out and designed. The acoustics in there are wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't need to raise my voice for every child in the room to hear me. There aren't any corners. Every child can see me and I can see them, what they're up to. And it's just a really pleasant environment to teach, and the 8 sides really make it just efficient and really enjoyable.
So Wendy, do you have any very special memories of teaching as a school marm in the 8 Square Schoolhouse that you could share with us?
I actually do remember, I remember when, well, as Carol said, this program's been going on since the 1970s. So if you went to the Ithaca School District at any point since the 1970s, you went to the 8 Square Schoolhouse as a 4th grader.
So there might be children of people who, when they were children,
exactly,
went there.
exactly. And I get kids say, oh, you know, my dad told me that he came here when he was in 4th grade, or, you know, my big sister or whatever. So that's fun.
How wonderful. Yet another connection to history.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
With your own family's history.
Exactly. So I remember when my son was in 4th grade, he went to South Hill School, and as a classroom parent, I went to the 8 Square Schoolhouse with him. And at the end of the day, when the teacher, later on in the afternoon, when the person who was teaching there said she was going to hand out a bottle of ink to every kid, I was
Like, what are you, crazy?
Lady, are you out of your mind? Are you sure you want to do this? And now I'm the one handing out the bottles of ink, and so far I've been lucky. We haven't had any really terrible accidents, although I have heard stories.
We've had,
about,
some doozies.
exactly, and that's what I've heard. So I wouldn't say that's exactly my favorite part, but it really is interesting. And it's great. Some of the kids really get into it and really enjoy it, and some of them, honestly, there's always one kid who manages to, in every class, manages to wear more of it than they get on the paper. And I still don't know how that happens, but there's usually one kid that gets it all over them. So far, as I said, I've been lucky. The kids, when they really do get into it, they really enjoy it. And it's not anything that you would really have a chance to experience, except at the 8 Square Schoolhouse, to find that you have this talent with pen and ink. And when a kid discovers that, that's really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that's my favorite part, but it is fun. It is fun.
Well, Wendy and Carol, thanks so much for joining us on this show and bringing the 8 Square Schoolhouse to life. So for those of you who are driving by it next time, now you know a little something. And if you go to the History Center website, you might find out information about open houses or community archaeology or other events that you can go to find out more. Thanks for joining us. Good night.